You're on all these gold shows. But you really are like the bush fix like aficionado. You're a genius. Well, well equipped every single time you show up to fix the problem. Who taught you that where didn't you learn you had to have the right tools for any occasion?
Well, my dad and I worked alongside my dad since I was a kid. I'm the youngest of a family of 5 children. I have 4 sisters, and I'm the only boy. I'm the youngest. So growing up, I worked alongside my dad. This is from a very early, since I was about 8 years old. So growing up, after school, my dad would pick me up at school, take me to work, and I'd work alongside him all day long until the evening and come home and do my homework. But so yeah, a lot of what I've learned and a lot of the abilities that I have, I definitely owe to my father.
Hmm. You're super creative. I've seen you manufacture things on the spot. Do you consider yourself an artist?
No, I don't. I definitely have an eye for fabrication, but yeah, I wouldn't consider myself an artist by any means.
You truly are creative, though. Out of all these, I mean, they call you in at the last second sometimes, and you're like coming in from another job. Do you like freelancing, or do you like the steady, seasonal job with just one company?
No, I'm definitely a freelance guy. I've always been an independent contractor, so I definitely like the adventure of being able to go from site to site, job to job, and seeing different country, meeting new people, and so genuinely the show allows me to continue to do that. And that's one of the things that I've enjoyed, over my career is, diversity.
What has been your favorite, I will say adventure or favorite on call or your favorite fix that you have it in your memory and is very fond?
I think it would probably be, working in Alaska. We early on before I was part of the whole Gold Rush universe. I already worked in Alaska, but working in Alaska one winter, we had several generator sets go down, and in the middle of the winter, and these generator sets are genuinely they're life support for us. Without power, our entire camp freezes. We have a camp with about 60 guys out there, but our generators went down, so we're frantically trying to get the generators back up and running, and we finally were able to get them running. We had some issues with the injectors and whatnot, but we got them back up and running, and that was one of those things that we're working. The generator house is getting cold. By the time we're done, the generator house was already in -10, -20s. It was cold in there, but we're frantically working, trying to get them back up and running so we can get heat back up to the camp and to the guys that are up there, waiting to go on shift. But that's one of those memories that kind of sticks with you, and it's always stuck with me that hey, things go wrong, and genuinely people's lives are kind of at risk. We're out in the middle of nowhere. There was nobody there to help us. We were the help.
Mm. Okay, you've seen people come and go.
Yeah.
More go than stay, because this is a tough business to be in. Do you think that not having a good field mechanic is like the number one fail for many of these people that are out there trying to harvest some of this gold?
Oh, 100%. 100%. You can have the best equipment in the world. It's going to break. It doesn't matter what it is. It's going to break. And having a gold mine or a rock crushing outfit and not having a mechanic and a welder, you're not going to be running long. You'll break down and you'll be broke. So that's one of the most crucial pieces of the puzzle is having a good field mechanic that can weld, fabricate, and wrench. Do all of the above. You got to have that, because if you don't have that, you won't have a mine for long.
You've seen in recent years, there's been like an evolution with these with these machines, right? You have people who have multiple like conveyor belts that go into the separator or the shaker dag that feeds another thing. Do you think that the one does it all, or versus multiple pieces? Which one do you think works better for, or is it just situational?
It's definitely situational. In some situations, a screen deck is very very beneficial. But in other situations where you have, thicker clay, you got mud that you got to break up, having that trauma where the material can drop down over it on top of itself and tumble around and have some area to be able to get scrubbed and washed is a better piece of equipment for that scenario. So it's all situational. It's all dependent on the ground that you have and the amount of clay and mud that you have.
What is the number one wrecker of machine? Frost, frosted pay, mushy pay, or boulders?
Oh, definitely boulders. You get, if you're not properly screening your material or getting it grizzlied down, you having it grizzly before it, and then getting that oversize off, all you're going to do is just beat your equipment to death. You got anything bigger than about a 6-inch minus or a 6-inch plus going onto your deck or into your trommel, you're going to beat it to death within within a week, a day, a couple days. It'll tear things up now.
In recent years, we've seen people come and go, and who is not around right now that you kind of were like sad to not see come back? Because we got the regulars and Beats and Schnabel and all these other guys, but there's guys who went by the wayside. Who do you miss the most?
It's hard to really pinpoint. I've actually been able to work with a lot of guys over the years. Whether I did work with Beats for a couple of years, and then I worked with the Hoffmans for about 3 years. But guys that I worked personally with that genuinely were talented kids. I had a few guys like his name was Andy from Victoria, BC. Heck of a fabricator, probably one of the most talented fabricators I've ever worked around. Heck of a good guy and very humble guy. But he was one guy that I really enjoyed working with that no longer is part of the show. But he was behind the scenes. A lot of the guys that I've worked with behind the scenes, that you'd be surprised the amount of talent that's back there. That these guys are behind the scenes doing some of the work that that gets shown on the show, and then they're just amazing.
One last question for those of us who sit at home on our couch and watch and goes, you know what, I can do that. What's your advice? Stay at home on the couch, or do you really want to risk the millions of dollars in chasing gold?
Well, start out slow. If you're set on going out mining, which is a great thing, there's opportunity there. But be diligent. But start out slow. Don't go all in. Make sure you do your homework. Test, and test. If you're going to go out there and look at ground that you want to potentially purchase or lease, and someone's told you that there's a bunch of gold on there, go out and test for yourself. Dig your own holes. Don't trust any holes that have already been dug. Dig your own holes. And if you're going to test in the same manner that you're going to actually run your production site on. So if you're going to test with, or if you're going to run a trommel with a sluice box, if you're going to go in there and test, make sure you test with a sluice box, a high banker with a sluice box. Because if you go out there and you do, bulk testing and you send it off to be fire assayed, well, those numbers are never going to correlate with what you can actually recover with a sluice box. So make sure you test it the same manner that you're going to run your operation with.
Juan, thank you so much. I'm a big fan, and me and my wife really, really love when you pop up on the scene, because we're like, oh, things are going to get done now. So thank you for your time.
Hey, thanks a lot. I appreciate you watching.